Hello and welcome to Release Date Rewind. My name is Mark J. Parker and I am a film lover, filmmaker, film celebrator. And normally this is an audio podcast wherever you get your podcasts on your favorite apps. But thanks to Portland Media Center, you are about to watch the video component of this show where I celebrate movie anniversaries with my friends. Each month, I usually talk about two different movies that I love with different friends, and we talk about the making of the movies, trivia, any fun memories associated with them. So I hope you enjoy, because now it's time to rewind.
In 1967, an international secret agent was cryogenically frozen in case the world ever required his services again. Now, evil is threatening the Earth, and the time has come to bring him back into the 90s.
It's not unusual.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
Danger Powers' personal effects.
Actually, my name is Austin Powers. Danger's my middle name.
I'll throw it over to you, Garrick. Tell me more about what are some of your favorite scenes, favorite lines, favorite characters that we haven't talked about yet in this movie.
Dude, you know what? So one of my favorite scenes, oh my God, there truly are so many, but like one that comes to mind was actually the scene with Will Ferrell, which blew my mind at, like, when I watched it years ago, because when I watched it when I was younger, I didn't realize it was Will Ferrell who was playing Mustafa.
Right.
Because he wasn't
really that famous.
His career.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He was another Saturday Night Live guy, and I was still young. And so, you know, that whole cast of characters from Saturday Night Live was very new to me because I was so young. You know, David Spade, Chris Farley, Adam Sandler. And then Will Ferrell.
All the time. Molly Shannon was in that group as well in the 90s. Yep.
Yeah. So like, here's Will Ferrell playing this. You can't even call him like a supporting character because he was. It's funny. Like a cameo appearance.
It's like not a cameo, right? Because Carrie Fisher has a great cameo later on as the therapist.
Yeah,
what a great scene. So that's like a cameo, right? Just the one scene. So he's got like a couple small scenes. So yeah, he's not supporting. He's not a cameo. He's just this small little weird role. And it's interesting because his name is Mufasa, right? Mustafa.
I think,
I'm getting my Lion King confused. Mustafa. And he has his little thing, and like his skin, it's not that he was in blackface, but they definitely like made him look. Yeah, which is a little risky. Yeah, totally.
And so it's weird because he like almost doesn't look recognizable in some ways.
Yep.
And so, but the scene is, you know, he Dr. Evil Dr. Evil loses his shit on Mustafa because Mustafa had failed to can't remember exactly what he did. He failed to fulfill some kind of mission to advance Dr. Evil's, you know,
evil plan.
Yeah. And so I think that's the scene when Dr. Evil is like talking about becoming upset, and you know when if you upset Mr. Bigglesworth, or Mr. Bigglesworth gets upset, people die, and then he hits Mustafa's button, which sends him flying backwards into this fiery pit underground, and then all you hear is just like Will Ferrell just be like, "Oh God, it hurts so bad."
Yes, he just won't die. Yes,
he just won't die, and then Dr. Evil just keeps talking, and then he's like, "I'm very badly burnt. Can somebody help me? Perhaps, you know, like he just goes on, and Dr. Evil just keeps getting more annoyed until finally Dr. Evil sends someone in there to.
Yeah, he like gets on the phone. He's like,
phone's a guard. Yeah,
bring the gun or whatever.
You just hear some gunshots.
and still,
says, you shot me right in the arm, and it just keeps going, dude. Like that was definitely one of the funniest scenes growing up watching the movie, and then like even today, it's just
and you know, much like that, the peeing scene. It's what makes that scene so funny is it just won't end, right? And like I love then when the camera's just lingering on Dr. Evil and he's looking at the group like, Okay, moving
Right.
on, you know?
Yeah. Just like a quick pause, and then it's like, is he
Yeah.
dead? All right, he's dead. We're good.
It's so good.
Name. Sex? Yes, please.
In his time, he was the coolest secret agent alive. Unfortunately,
It's freedom, baby. Yeah.
this is not his time. He's a swinger in a square world.
A lot's changed since 1967.
And I love Frau. I love I forget her last name, but you know,
Frau
his
Fabricina.
right hand. Yes, his right hand woman. I love her scream. She is so funny. And I remember as a kid, just her face, her eyes.
Yeah.
She's so over the top. You know, and that role I read was originally going to Rhea Perlman, Danny DeVito's ex-wife, who's done a bunch
Yeah.
of things, and she's so funny. And she said she regretted you know,
Not
not
taking
doing
up the
that
role.
role. But I
Right.
love I think her name is Mindy Sterling, I think.
Yeah, I
her
couldn't
name.
remember the name.
So funny. I love. She's just is that scream, you know, sending
Yeah.
that Scott. Like it's just
Dude,
she's
the
just
Scott one is
Yes.
like and Dr. Evil's like, my son? And she's like,
Yes.
yeah.
So then, do you think, Eric, that so because they said they kept his sperm, they like froze his sperm, and they were waiting for him, you know, but they were impatient, so they just made this, you know, younger Evil, the son. Do you think
Yeah.
like they used like her egg? Like is she Scott's mom? I couldn't remember in the sequels. Is that confirmed, or is that who's Scott's mom? Do we ever find out?
I don't know if we did, but it's weird
Okay.
because like in the subsequent movies, I'm pretty sure Dr. Evil has like, you know, a love affair with Frau
Does he?
Fabricina. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, yeah,
you're
like
right.
they're like in some penthouse and they get freaky with each other.
Oh,
You know what
so
I mean?
gross.
It's like kind of
Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
So I kind of feel like Frau is Scott's mom. Again, I haven't seen the sequels in like honestly 2 decades probably. So
Yeah.
it's a really long time. But just the way she said, "Well, we got impatient," I was like, "Ew, wait a minute. Did she like use his sperm and
Carrie,
now swing it?"
yeah,
You're right. Yeah.
right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a mystery there
I know. Maybe if that isn't answered in the
in the
the
sequels.
entire franchise, like maybe that could be something that's addressed if they make
Yes. And I
prequel.
did read that an
Mhm.
idea was to focus on the fourth film, focus a little bit more on Dr. Evil and Scott Evil. So, yeah,
Yeah.
you might be onto something there where maybe we see a little bit more of, you know, what came to be. But yeah, I love Seth Green as Scott. He's just
Dude,
so and it's
yeah,
funny
like
because
I
he
wanna
also he wasn't the first choice. It was supposed to be Colin Quinn, also from SNL, who is older.
Oh,
He's like
so
10 years
weird and
older.
random. I cannot
Yes.
picture like anyone but
Right?
Seth Green as
I
Scott
guess
Evil.
because he was just friends with Mike Myers that he's like, yeah, you want to do this? But no, Seth Green is perfect in this role. And like
Yeah.
his earrings and his whole vibe and how he's like, you know, let me get my gun and we'll just shoot him. Like,
Oh yeah, dude. Oh my god. And I love how like when he's first introduced, he's like, so you've been like frozen, just like wandering in outer space my whole life instead of being a dad?
yep.
I
And
hate
I love
you.
and I love how they bring that up in therapy as well, which is great. And like, and how Carrie
Oh,
Fisher's
yeah.
just like, what does she say? She says something like, "Listen to what he says, so I can take over the world." Doesn't it feel like
Yeah.
that? Something like totally oblivious
Yeah.
that like
Yeah,
this guy
right.
is a evil mastermind, you know?
Dude,
Yeah.
also like his what's it called? His like monologue there, Dr. Evil's
Oh my
monologue
God, yeah.
there. It's
Yeah.
like so bizarre. It's like
So
it's
bizarre.
really
Shaving of the balls
strange.
and yeah.
Yeah, just like the way he's talking, you're like, it's like kind of an uneasy feeling, like all
Oh,
the
definitely.
weird shit he says. You
And
know
I
what
love how
mean?
that
It's like,
scene just ends with Carrie Fisher saying, "We need to end," and it just
yeah,
abruptly
right. And then
cuts.
boom, done. Yeah, exactly. Next scene.
Yeah, it gets
But
so
dude,
weird.
Seth Green, like that's it's crazy. He's had like probably a really good career in
Oh
a lot of
yeah.
ways because
And
you
he's
know
been
he
quiet the last decade or so. You know, he doesn't pop up as much as he used to, but yeah, back then, because this was right before he
yeah.
joined Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the show. He
Oh
started
yeah.
that later in 97 for a few years. Yeah, he was in some big comedies. He's good. He's really good. You know?
Yeah, I've like always loved watching Seth Green, and
Yeah.
he was in Without a Paddle,
Oh yeah.
which you know maybe like a lot of people aren't totally familiar with, but I think a lot of people are. It seems
Yeah.
like it. And then
Oh
and
yeah.
I think that he had some roles as a kid and like a
Oh yeah.
teenager and stuff
Oh yeah.
like that.
He's been
So
around for a long time for sure.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, and the fact that he got Scott Evil. That was huge for him, even though it was just like a kind of a supporting role, but it was
Right.
still big. It was a significant role.
Oh yeah,
And
he's in
then
the
the
whole
fact that
franchise.
he got, and then exactly. And then the fact that he landed the role as Chris in Family Guy for
Oh
that
yeah.
entire for
Wow.
that
He's
entire
another
running
one.
time, like
He's got
that's
money,
awesome. Yeah,
right?
he's just great to watch. He's fun and he's entertaining. He's
Yes.
great as Scott Evil. So but it's just crazy to kind of go back and watch Seth Green in that role, because like that was still pretty early in his career,
Totally. Yeah.
and he's
That
had
really
like a
helped
pretty
him blow
significant
up.
career since then. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And their dynamic is just because I think what works so well is Seth Green plays it so straight. He's so like annoyed and disgusted by this new dad, and Dr.
Mhm.
Evil kind of hates him but really wants him to love him, you know, like so their dynamic is just so fun to watch. And then of course,
Yeah.
I feel like there's some fun stuff in the sequels with the two of them, but I completely forgot, and I love the most random moment when Dr. Evil's like saying like I'm hip, I'm cool, and then he does his
Yeah,
the
right.
Macarena.
He's trying so hard to look cool and like
Oh my
peak
god, that
boomer
was
shit.
totally
Dude, I
so
just
funny.
like love all those little kind of moments. Like they, like they're not as maybe memorable as the crazy choreography with the sausage and stuff like
Oh
that in
yeah.
the hotel room, but they're just like there's all these funny little moments, or like the whole, they're always after me Lucky Charms
Oh
kind of
my god,
thing
yes.
with
I
the
love Patty
Irishman.
O'Brien. Who does number 2 work for? I love that scene. That was so
Dude,
funny to
yes,
me.
exactly.
Yeah.
It just keeps going. And how like in that scene too, when they're in the casino bathroom, and then like Austin
Yeah.
Powers walks in and there's a blind guy. He's like, "You wouldn't happen to see anything at all." Like when he notices that he's blind. And then like,
Yeah.
and right before that, I love how he's at the table with number 2 and
Oh
lots
yeah.
of vagina.
Yes.
And he's with
Oh. And the soup Nazi from
Vanessa.
Seinfeld.
Yes,
I'm
dude.
like, how do
Oh
I
my
know that
God, that's
guy?
right.
But he's the soup Nazi
He's
from
playing,
Seinfeld.
yeah, the
The
blackjack
dealer.
player.
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love how I did not even make that connection. That's so crazy, but it's like
Isn't that
so
crazy?
obvious now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then like when Mike Myers is like introducing himself, and he's like,
Oh yeah.
"I'm Richie Cunningham, and this is my wife, Oprah." Dude, like,
Austin!
What have you done?
That's not your mother, it's a man, baby!
Why won't this wig come off?
Well, now you shake it to the left, you shake it to the right. You're doing a hippie shake.
Jiggle, jiggle.
Ow! That really hurt! Who throws a shoe? Honestly.
I completely forgot that this movie is mostly set in Vegas. Completely forgot. Like I
Oh, yeah.
remembered the casino stuff, and I loved the like kind of like green screen where it's the two of them and it's all the signs and everything, all the lights. Totally
Yeah.
forgot. Yeah, there's such a Vegas
Right.
vibe here, you
It
know?
is. Yeah, wow.
It's
I guess
funny.
it didn't even really like totally cross my mind either. Because like when they're not at the casino, then they're like at hotels, and they go to
At
a lot
yeah, a
of
lot of
China's
hotels.
penthouse.
Oh my god, yeah. I
And-
thought as a kid and even as an adult, I thought a lot of vagina was so funny. Oh my god,
Same, dude.
so funny.
Same.
Oh my god, that just and even like Austin's reaction to her name, like, you know, like it's just so perfect.
Yeah.
But it's funny, she doesn't really get a death. She just sort of like at the end when the place is like kind of like exploding or whatever. I'm trying to remember like how does it end? I know Dr. Evil goes back in his big boy rocket, and then the
Yeah.
whole place sort of almost is about to blow up, but Austin stops it. But like nothing really happens to a lot of vagina, and I don't remember her in any of the sequels. Right? She doesn't
No,
really
I
pop
don't
up
think that
again.
she reappears. Yeah, I
She
think
just
that,
sort of like, you know, gets hurt and is like, all right, whatever, you know. But the physical stuff is so good. Even like, you know, the awkward like trying to reverse the like cart in the hallway, in that very skinny hallway
Oh
later
my
on.
god, dude! Dude,
That
we
is
cannot.
such great
dude,
physical comedy, right?
we cannot. I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's like we can't do a podcast on Austin Powers without talking about that, because that's like one of the funniest scenes in the whole movie, and it's
'Cause we-
so memorable.
We even cut away from it to like go to Dr. Evil, and then we come back and he's still doing
Yeah,
it.
but
Yeah.
and it's like, dude, it's like I still apply that scene to real life because anytime I'm in a situation like that, when you have like the tiniest
Oh
amount of
my God.
space to
It's so
maneuver, and you just have
stressful.
to reverse and then forward, reverse, forward for forever until you can
Oh
finally
God.
get out. I'm like, dude, I'm having an Austin Powers moment right now, and I
Yes.
can't even like get out. And so like, so not only does that scene apply to my life in that way, but like um that scene's like also so funny because what comes after that, or maybe it's before, but I think it's after, when
Yeah.
they're like in the it's kind of like steamroller thing in that
Y-
steamroller vehicle,
yes.
and then
Yes.
you see the guy, this I think his name's Michael McDonald or
Michael
something, from
McDonald from Mad TV, from
Mad
Stewart.
TV.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God, I'm so glad you know him as
Oh
well.
my
Yeah.
God, dude. Yeah, because he was the man in Mad
Yes.
TV. And then you like watch Austin Powers, like, holy shit, dude, he was in Austin
Yes.
Powers. And you
Uh-huh.
just it's so good because they're driving like 5 or 10 miles an
Oh
hour.
my God. They're
And
so
if
far away and he's
that,
just
they're
what a
so far away. He's
fun
like,
cameo,
no.
right? Yeah.
And then Austin Powers like, move, move. He's like, no. He's like, get out of the way. And then you like see him like actually get kind of crushed.
Yes.
He's just screaming
I read that there
hysterically,
was a
dude.
deleted scene with his wife, like mourning his death, which is just so
Oh my
random. Like, of
gosh,
course they
really?
shot that, but oh, I know, I
Oh, dude, that
completely
seems
forgot about
so
that scene, and
good.
I love it because I love that
It's so funny.
wide, profile angle of him all the way over here and the steamroll, and it's like
Yeah.
you got plenty of time,
Right,
but
yeah. You really can tell, like cause you get the perspective of both
yeah,
kind of in a way, or you know what I
yeah,
mean? So then when you see that wide angle where Michael McDonald's way over here and
oh yeah,
Austin and Mrs. Kensington, Vanessa are way over here. It's like, dude,
oh my God, it's
he's like accepting his death, even though he can walk away
he
so
could
easily.
literally walk. He could just
It's like literally walk, yeah. Instead he gets crushed by it. I just love that's why that movie's so great though, because it's like it was Austin Powers, even though there's a crude sexual element to it, obviously,
right,
and even like violent kind of whatever in a way. Um, it's like not only does it have heart, like you were saying, like it's sweet in those in
yeah,
certain moments, and you like Austin, and even though he's kind of like this kind of womanizer, even though he was basically just a product of his era, he has a good heart, he has good intentions, but not only that, but the movie is like it's not over the top crude and nasty and vulgar and stuff like that.
right,
It's like the pre Seth Rogen comedy days
yeah,
where like they didn't really need to be all that crude and vulgar and like
right,
gross out to get a laugh out of you. You could do like absurd, like ridiculous shit, like the cart going forward and backing up in the
right.
hallway, or running over Michael McDonald in a steamroller when he has plenty of time, or the creative choreography with it, even though it is
Yes,
sexual. It's
it's
like
very light, right?
it's
It's
still,
like
yeah, exactly. It's like
yeah.
you can kind of watch it with kids in a way. I mean, I
Oh,
wouldn't
totally. Oh, I think you
recommend
could.
it
I mean,
maybe.
there's
Yeah,
nothing that adult about it. I mean, honestly, right? I mean,
yeah,
maybe a couple things, but come on now. Yeah, I totally know what you mean. It's sort of like a movie they can't really make anymore because it was so kind of like not innocent because it knew what it was doing, and like we said, it's raunchy,
right.
but it's
Yeah.
just so kind of simple and straightforward that I think because of the success of movies like this,
Mhm.
then the next wave of comedy, yeah, had to get grosser and a little not meaner but a little bit sassier, right,
Yeah,
and
right. Like every comedy after that had to have like an
more of an
edge in a
edge.
way. Like, and
Jinx,
it's like,
exactly.
and it's like, yeah, and it's like every comedy after that also seemed like it was R-rated, whether it's like The Hangover, which I love, or
Hmm.
like Super Bad and
Super
Pineapple
bad,
Express, which I
knocked up,
also
yeah.
love.
Uh-huh.
But uh, it was so creative and so original, and still like, and it had a heart, and it wasn't over the top and nasty and vulgar, and it kind
Right.
of like Princess Bride in a way, even though Princess
Oh
Bride was a
yeah.
little bit more innocent and it was PG, but
Right.
Princess Bride is genuinely funny for like everyone of all ages, and it's creative and
Yeah.
original, and it didn't have to be so nasty and crude and
Right. Oh
vulgar
yeah. There were
to work and be
moments,
funny.
Absolutely. I agree. There were moments in this latest rewatch of this movie that it made me think even a little bit of like some Mel Brooks kind of comedy from like old
Yeah,
classic comedies, or even a little bit of Monty Python, you know?
yeah,
So
I can
yeah,
see
it
that.
kind of instantly felt sort of like a classic, or almost like not even like a modern American film. It almost felt like you were watching something that like was instantly a little special, and like it's like a comedy fantasy in a way. You know what I mean? So I think that's
Yeah,
why it can get away with being a little bit more innocent and light, and not as edgy or like a little darker humor that like a more modern day like realistic comedy could be, you know?
yeah. Dude, I really feel like I grew up in this sort of, at least temporarily, like the last golden age of comedy, because it seems like comedies, you just do not see comedies like that anymore. And
Yeah.
in fact, it doesn't even seem like you see comedies almost at all anymore. Or maybe I'm just like really bored by a
Well,
lot
I think
of
that's
comedies
a
now.
good
But it's like,
point. I feel like
like I'm just
nowadays
so lucky to grow up with
there's more
Austin Powers and
merging.
Anchorman and stuff.
Totally. I know what you mean. We had good comedy in the 90s and like 2000s, and I think there is still good comedy out there, but now there's more
Yeah.
merging of genres. Like now you get your comedy when you go see Spider-Man, right?
Oh,
Or
sure.
now
Yeah.
you get more like horror comedy. Like it things kind of are rarely nowadays just like one genre. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
Right.
maybe that's what it is too.
But I used to go to the theaters for comedy movies
Oh yeah.
all the time. And those were like to the point where it's almost all I ever saw, which kind of sounds sad. But it's like, I was
I
going
can
to the
picture that for
theater
you though.
for,
I could totally
yeah,
see
like
you.
I was going to Austin Powers and Anchorman and The Hangover and
Oh yeah.
Pineapple Express and Super Bad
And Zoolander and all
and
those. Yeah.
Zoolander, yeah, and even like the Jackass movies.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but I don't even know if I've been to a comedy in the last 10 years. No joke. Like basically since the
Yeah.
Hangover era, because that was like 2008 or
I
9,
feel like
I think.
I'm sure we've seen some comedies in theaters, but it's hard because with COVID everything obviously changed. But like even before
Right.
then, like I remember laughing my ass off seeing Bridesmaids in theaters. That was truly hilarious and special. But yeah,
Mhm.
you're right. It's rare when I feel like at this time comedies were big money. You know,
Mhm.
maybe then I think just with the age of superheroes really taking over, it sort of was like
Yeah.
now comedies are more streaming, and honestly there's a lot of great TV comedy,
Yeah. Right. Oh,
that's like
maybe
kind of where it went,
maybe
you know
you're probably right. I know. And
Mike Myers,
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Elizabeth Hurley,
Don't forget these.
I really like exploring how a film does commercially and
yeah.
critically. And in this case, and so like for example, every movie that I watch, I love like researching it in a way, and I like
Oh yeah.
I like seeing its especially like before he died. I still love reading Roger Ebert's
Oh, me too,
assessments
Garrick,
of
you're my
films, his
twin.
reviews. Oh
I
yeah,
love
dude.
yeah, and Wiki loves Roger Ebert too, because whenever you look up a movie there's usually like a Roger Ebert quote on the wiki page.
Yeah,
Love it.
right. Like see how him and
uh, s- uh
Roper,
yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, him, and
how
then
they
before
reviewed
him
it.
was Gene Siskel before Roper.
Oh yeah,
It was
Siskel.
Siskel and
Yeah,
Ebert,
Siskel
and
and
they had like
Ebert.
a
Right.
show back in the day,
Yeah,
like a
on
weekend
TV.
show, which is so
Yeah.
fun to watch
Right.
old clips of.
And
Yes, I love
and
that.
yeah, and if you got like a really good review from Roger Ebert, then you're doing okay.
You're in
And
good shape. Yeah,
yeah, and Austin Powers got 3 out of 4 stars from Ebert, which I think it's
that's
fair.
good.
I
Yeah,
think
for
that's
this
still
kind of
good.
movie. Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, for sure. Like, because I think that Roger Ebert was kind of harsh on comedies, and I think that he hated probably every comedy that I loved, because I
Oh, that's
loved the Will
funny.
Ferrell stuff and the Seth Rogen stuff. So he was like, I felt like he was constantly slapping like 1 and 2 stars on like all my favorite movies, or Dumb and
Oh,
Dumber in '94.
oh
Like,
God, I love Dumb and Dumber.
I think he gave that a bad review, but he also like will sometimes he would actually sometimes rewatch stuff and give it a new review
Yeah,
later on. But he gave Austin Powers 3 stars, and I think that that's fair. And so I read the review last night, and yeah, it was a great assessment.
I love
And in
that.
terms of like its commercial success, so evidently
Yeah.
it had a budget of 16 million, and
Yep.
then earned, I think, between 50 and 60 million worldwide. If I'm
Yeah, I
not
think it was like
mistaken.
67. I saw somewhere 67 million worldwide, which is definitely not bad, but it's not like amazing, right?
It's not earth shattering, but
Yeah,
for a comedy with that budget, like
right.
they still
It was a
more than great,
success.
great return on investment for them, and that's why they went on to spawn more sequels.
Right.
But I don't know, it's just cool to see that it did that well, and yeah, it's not like it's going to be like Titanic, which gets 100
Right.
million or 200, probably 200 million. Actually, no, probably like close to 1 billion. I bet
I think it
Titanic
was like,
got.
yeah, especially in today's dollars, I think it's like over $1 billion for sure.
Yeah, because I think Titanic was made on a, even in the 90s, it was made on a $100 million budget, which is crazy because like you see, because you only hear
Oh my
about that
God.
kind of money, back 100 million in today's dollars is,
Yeah.
it's crazy. So
Yeah.
but like Austin Powers, it did really well for a comedy,
Yeah.
and it was great that it was so commercially successful that it could go on to make new movies that I think were probably, I'm sure, even bigger commercial successes than the
Yeah,
first
they
one.
each made like 200 million plus worldwide. So it's crazy to
Really?
see the
That's
jump.
huge.
Yeah. So
That's huge.
I think like we were saying, I think that also is a credit to the home video release of the movie. How I think people rented it and showed it to their friends and just rewatched it at home. So yeah,
Yeah, it
right?
was a whole like Austin Powers,
It's like such a sleepover
culture
movie,
that
you
we were
know?
in. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, come over and watch Austin Powers and spend the night
Right?
and stuff.
Ah,
Oh, dude, I'm sure I had
good old
many of
days.
those nights because I've seen Austin Powers truly like far more times than I can even count, to the point where I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure that I was able to recite most of the lines in
I bet.
it at one
How
point.
many times do you think you've seen it? Like 30?
It probably is in that vicinity because I grew up with three brothers, and we were all big movie fanatics, and so we were just like, we just loved watching movies together and
Yeah.
with our friends. So I love that movie so much, and it was so funny that I just watched it so many times, and my parents liked it a lot too. So like my parents would put it on
Yeah.
and I would watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just loved the movies, and so did my family. And so yeah, we watched that so many times between
Oh yeah.
me and my family and my friends and stuff like that. So
Yeah. I
yeah.
feel like
How about you though?
movies that you watched with your family like just stick with you for life. You know, like you instantly just, like if your parents were into it and you were into it, then like that's
Oh yeah.
immediately right, like a rewatchable movie that's just going to be with you forever. I definitely haven't
Yeah.
seen this as many times as you have. It's hard to count, I'd say
Yeah.
probably at least 10 times I feel like over the course of my
Yeah.
life, right?
Which
I'm
is still a
sure.
lot.
Which is a lot, yeah. But it's funny
Yeah.
because it's like it was like 10 or so, maybe a little less, but like in a short amount of time in the grand scheme of life, Because
Right.
I honestly have not rewatched this at probably, I know it's been at least maybe 15 years since
Wow.
I've
Yeah.
seen it, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's just wild. But but it's like riding a bike. As soon as it plays, I can quote things. I know exactly how they say things, It's just
Hmm.
the delivery, the music. I mean, great score.
Oh
Music.
yeah.
It's iconic. The dancing and everything.
International man of mystery.
Always wanting to have fun, Austin. That's you in a nutshell.
No, this is me in a nutshell. Help! I'm in a nutshell.
Thanks so much for watching. Next time, there's going to be a new movie that we'll talk about, so stay tuned. And please follow Release Date Rewind on Instagram for updates. Bye.